Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War Rise from the Ashes event, in which the Sunbird is added to the game. So let's go over it. First things first, red purple trait stone. You will use this mainly for a Dragon Soul, a Mist Stalker, and surprisingly the Sunbird itself. Very rarely does an event troop actually need to be traded, but this is one of them as it has a new core mechanic on one of its traits. So Sunbird, pretty average stats. As far as its ability, it deals damage randomly split amongst all enemies, and that is boosted based on its life at a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's a pretty decent amount of damage, not something you would really boost into, but it's still, if you're just going to be constantly casting it out, is a pretty standard kind of mid-range amount of damage. And then it dies and rises again from the ashes. This is kind of unique in that it, of course, just kills itself. This will make it revive back at its base stats. Two things to note about this is its traits will not re-trigger. So for example, it has Fireheart. This will not re-trigger when it revives. The other thing to note is that bonuses and team bonuses do apply. So for example, if you have like a +2 HP or something, a bonus from whatever your team bonus is, maybe for using, I think, 3 Beasts gives you 2 HP and 1 attack, if I'm not mistaken, that would end up giving you the little bit that you'll need in order to still be able to do extra damage. That 2 HP will go directly into your damage, essentially as magic, because of the 1-to-1 ratio. And the 10% as well, or if it has 20% any week that has any bonus, that also applies to it when it gets revived. As far as the traits, first 2 traits kind of average, not really that noteworthy. The final trait, very, very noteworthy. Summon a Firestorm when an ally dies, and yes, this does include itself as well. So yes, it can perpetually keep a Firestorm on the board pretty easily, because if you're not killing itself, then whatever your first slot is, if it happens to die, will also create a Firestorm. So you're pretty much covered if you want a Firestorm now. You just put a Sunbird on your team and then boom, you're good to go. Also, it is also noteworthy to mention the artwork on it looks pretty nice. I figured I'd mention that because it is somewhat relevant. Anyways, the event this week, ridiculously easy. All you have to do is kill Strixes and Explore. It is such a ridiculously low number that I actually have 41 done, and we kind of just started. You do this under the Suncrest Kingdom. Just click Explore in Suncrest, and just do the battles here. You can do any of the methods to quickly repick them if there's not enough. Generally, I just do it if there's at least one, I do the battle. Like right here, I'd go for the battle, just quicker. But there are ways to repick. I believe opening a single gold key will also end up redoing whatever the team that you have here is. So as you can see, it's now a different team again. So those few methods are ways that you can reshuffle. But yeah, just do that within Suncrest, or just do it through PvP. You only need 100 kills, so you could probably get it through PvP this week, because it's PvP or Explore. So it's pretty easy, given that people will probably be using some Strixes to help people out. Shouldn't take that long at all. You can do it in under an hour if you were just to explore it the entire time. So ridiculously easy. As far as the rewards, it's mainly just for some gems. Heska doesn't really get used within the context of any teams. You can kind of just ignore her for the most part. So, bonus glory. There is a bonus glory this week whenever you use a beast team. This means using 4 beasts on a team. You do gain 5 additional glory, as well as our 10% bonuses that we have this week, which are the 10% for all Strixes and 10% for all Suncrest this week. So let's go show 2 teams. One based on the new troop, which I have actually really been enjoying, seems pretty strong, and one based on a all-beast team. So let's go with the strong version of a Sunbird as far as what you would kind of use it with. This team is Princess Elspeth fully traded, Sunbird fully traded, Ketris, and an Ogryn, preferably fully traded. Actually, basically everything fully traded. If you do not have a Ketris, you can use basically any red troop in the game that hits all enemies or multiple enemies. Any of them would work. So we'll just go into the battle. Essentially what you do here, well, it's pretty standard Elspeth team as far as how Elspeth gets used. You use an Elspeth on a pure colored troop. Actually, I have a really bad board right now. Let me go take that skull first. Oh, good thing he did not get a skull there. That would have completely ruined us. But we'll go do that. That, of course, puts a Firestorm on the board. Why did it do that? It did it because this does count as a kill when you end up summoning over one of your troops like that. So, or, well, it kills it and then summons this thing over it. But that does count as a actual kill, which does trigger the Firestorm. and now we can go through Ketris and whatever else we want to go do. So essentially, the combo of why I actually prefer using Ketris with this is because, of course, Ketris does a little bit of damage to both the side troops. So this is enough for the Firebird to clean up, and then you're pretty much good to go. You almost just won at that point. And one more Firebird, I believe, will be enough damage. You can normally do a triple cast for the win. Sometimes you'll need a quad cast, a double Firebird and a double Ketris. But one Firebird with 2 Ketrises is normally enough. So there we go, another Firebird, and that should be enough, and down it goes. So yeah, that is Firebird. It is a lot stronger than I initially anticipated it to be. I thought it would just kind of be something that you'd use like very nichely, but like with only a few purposes. But you can use this in pretty much any team whatsoever that uses a heavy amount of reds. It is very, very powerful. I even got it all the way to Mythic because I thought I'd kind of be using it quite a bit. So next, the All Beast team, unless I did it wrong. I was only saying 3. I did something wrong. Oh, I do have 4 beasts. I just have 3 unique ones. That's why I'm saying 3. But yeah, that was what I was referring to earlier with the extra HP bonus. You do get extra HP from using Mass Beast. There's also plenty of other combos that you can do with it. I believe Elemental uses as well. I believe Suncrest gives a little bit. I actually didn't bother testing beforehand. But you can, if you get any kind of team bonus on your team, it will apply when it gets revived. So do keep that in mind. That's why it's having that extra 2 HP every single time. But anyways, let's go fight an actual team. Ooh, it's a revenge rival though. We gotta go for it. Gotta go for it. We'll do another one afterwards, because obviously this one will not be too good of a representation, but I can't not take a rival revenge. That is just too tempting of a battle. At least this will be kind of a little practice run just to kind of get the setup going. So essentially what you do here is you just keep casting these things over and over and over again. You can probably just go 3 of these if you really wanted to. It is quite decent of a trip, that is for sure. And what else do we move? Well, let's just go get another cast off and just keep the little things going. One other thing to note about this Sunbird that may be useful depending on what you're planning on using for it. You can use the Sunbird to be able to basically tank in front of a troop. What I mean by that is, let's say you were using 1 Sunbird on your team and your second slot is not a tank. Essentially what you can do is, let's say your Sunbird's in 4th, your second slot's not a tank. Your first slot will eventually die. Your Sunbird, when it revives, when it kills itself and then revives, it will always summon itself in whatever your first position is. So you can basically shift your Phoenix up as a tank. It's not particularly good as a tank, well, kind of. It depends what you're up against. What's kind of good about it as a tank is kind of why, like, Werewolf is good as a tank. It's mainly because whenever it kills itself or revives or, you know, whatever it happens to do, in the case of a Werewolf, it transforms. But in the case of this thing where it revives itself, you can keep using it as a tank because it comes in at the same stats every single time. Every single time it's going to be coming in with this, or at least mine will. So whenever you keep taking damage, you can lower it all the way to 1 HP, then cast, and then boom, it's all the way back as a normal troop, as if it was never hit in the first place. So definitely pretty useful. One thing to note about this team, this is mainly just for the purpose of gaining glory. You can also just run the full Cabarrus team. You can run anything like that. I personally will not be running an all-beast team this week, mainly because these teams, relative to some other teams, are going to be a little bit towards the slower side, as you can already see from what we're doing right now. So, well, it is also because he's so durable. But this team in general and things like it that are all beasts are going to be a little slow. If you really wanted to go for an absolutely quick team, I think the quickest you can possibly do is the standard all-beast team that a lot of people tend to use, which is the Cabarrus, Giant Spider, Forest Guardian Cabarrus team. So if you happen to have that, maybe try using an all-beast team this week. Otherwise, if you don't have that team, there really isn't an excessive amount of options that you'll have available this week for the bonus glory, which is a bit unfortunate. It's always a lot easier when it's just a single troop. When it's something like this kind of event week, it's a little bit harder to do. It's still manageable, but I feel like you'd end up getting more just from doing standard battles. Anyways, there goes that. We go fight an actual battle now that we go claimed all that glory. Wow, that's actually a really big stack of glory. 16 glory, because we got the extra from the rival, the revenge, and the extra 5 from the all beast thing for whenever you use an all beast in PvP. So, let's go do one more against an actual team this time. Finnair, Giant Spider, Forest Guardian, and Drake. Forest Guardian is actually going to be quite annoying, mainly because Barrier is not something that a Phoenix likes. It can remove it off okay. If nothing else, we can remove off Barrier with Poison off of the Serpent, which is kind of nice. But always, with this kind of team, it is preferable not to be up against Barrier. And he will have a little bit of a Barrier spam on him. So let's go get our Firestorm going. One pretty nice thing about this is he does not actually use anything related to a counter to that. One other thing to note about something that you can use today, which is something I was thinking about showing, but it just seemed too simple of a team. But you can run the Triple Phoenix with a Hellcat, putting the Hellcat, I guess, in either second or third slot. You can just run that and keep running the Hellcat into the ability cast, and that would end up working pretty well. Speaking about working pretty well, he's absolutely destroying me right now with all of the everything. Yeah, you can end your turn. There you go. Good job. Well then, that definitely didn't go over well, but at least we get to show the tank ability of a Phoenix now. I keep calling it a Phoenix. I think it's called a Sunbird. I'll be calling it a Phoenix a lot. If you ever hear me say the troop Phoenix, I'm referring to Sunbird. Because I know for sure I will call this thing a Phoenix probably a billion times. So yeah, if I ever say Phoenix, I mean Sunbird. Close enough. Okay, he completely misses. Where do we need to move? We'll go take the green over there. What else do we need to move? We don't have a drop there. We don't have a convert because he already converted, so none of that's available. I guess we'll take a skull. I don't want to do my revive yet. The main reason for this is how it actually interacts, because of course, as I mentioned earlier, whenever it revives off of its thing, it is coming in with its base stats every single time. So do keep that in mind whenever you're using it, because you can use it as like a makeshift tank and even bring it all the way up to the front of your team, which is kind of cool. I believe it's one of the only troops that really do that. It might be the only troop, because I don't believe transforming troops do it. I'm actually not 100% sure on that, but I know for sure that thing does. Okay, so we'll go and just move a skull right there. Let the barrier go off so we can poke him some. He has a really high HP right now. Well, let's go take a purple, take a red, get our little thing right there. He'll cast a giant spider. There isn't really anything I can do to distract or prevent him from doing so. What we can do though is throw the Forest Guardian, so let me do that. Barrier is a little bit redundant on a on this troop though, mainly because the barrier, once it dies, will actually do nothing. So do keep that in mind. The barrier is pretty much 100% useless. So right here, we'll just let it poke us. And there goes the barrier off. I can take another skull if I really wanted to. Or just go for the split damage. I guess I'll just go for the skull, why not? Let him do his little thing. He's probably going to get another Nature Guardian off. We'll just let it go. Not really too concerned about it. Just go throw both of these. And of course, this thing right here will come back with all of its stats as soon as we go cast it. Just double check that it doesn't have alignment. Doesn't look like it. Actually, he'll be giving us a little bit of alignment. So there it goes, boom, and now it has all of its armor back, and it's right back to normal. So yeah, Phoenix, quite decent. All beast teams, not so much. But yeah, Phoenix, you can almost just shift this into any team, as I mentioned earlier. Any team that needs more red, just put a Phoenix in it, you're good to go. So yeah, there's that. The power of Phoenix. You know what, let me go try the Hellcat thing real quick. I didn't actually bother using it earlier, but we might as well show one more to see what happened. Oh, good. We can kind of mirror him with a similar concept team. Perfect. So we'll see which one is stronger right now. Forest Troll with Triple Kraken, probably that. Or Sunbird with, or Triple Sunbird with a, oh, I needed to get a bug, go buy another one, with a Hellcat. That awkward moment when you only have 2 and not 3. That extremely awkward moment when it's like a legend or something and it's like, no, why did I ascend them? I've had that happen many times. Where do we go? Glory Reward, Sunbird. Luckily it's the event right now, so I can just buy them. Just in case, let me get 4 of them. I know someone's going to ask me later, go 4 Sunbirds. We're not going to do that now, but just in case someone asks during stream later, we will be covering all this and messing around with Sunbird more in tonight's stream, but let's go with this. And switch over to a double yellow banner so that we can get a full mana off of a 5x yellow for the Hellcat. Also just so we can get it up easier. So we'll roll with this, and one surge on the Hellcat will allow it to 2-turn. Please go loading screen, there we go. So let's see, who will win? Triple Kraken Forest Troll or Triple Sunbird Hellcat? See what happens. Right off the bat we'll want to go for yellow, obviously. Wow. So many yellows. Where to go? Where to go? I guess we'll do that and try for a yellow or a red. And we can get either, but we can take that. Now we just need one little yellow, and he's going to start forest trolling. I probably need to deny his green out of safety's sake. So we'll do that. Let him do whatever. We can't keep denying him though, so we'll just move that over. He'll take a skull, that's fine. We can just Phoenix. As soon as Phoenix goes, we're in great shape. Nothing else to take. What else will deny him right now? I guess just taking the green. So he'll miss, obviously, because we've been taking pretty much every green he's had available. We'll go do that. I'm not worried about that. As long as that doesn't die, perfectly fine. Now our issue is we don't have alignment. That's one thing that's kind of nice about the trolls. They don't need alignment to work. But if we're going to be using something like a converter, we do need that alignment to be able to get the extra turn. I'm not just going to throw it randomly on something. Because obviously we'll see exactly what happens when it drops down. So we don't just want to throw it aimlessly. We can do it on yellow right now, though that is literally the worst possible color that we could throw it on. So I'll probably not do it. The only problem is we don't really have another option. So that is a concern. We could throw it on green, actually. Let me do it on green. We can deny out his color. We don't get that good of a value from it, but he loses value from it. So we'll roll with that. A little bit of a slow start. Can we drop that? No, we cannot. Can we skull distract? Well, let's not take any of those yellows because he's going to get brown off of it. We'll take this brown, or yellow, yeah, yellow over here. So we'll double into nothing because there's basically none on the board. Speaking about none on the board, though, we are not really getting much as far as our turns. He finally gets that up, so he's probably going to get a Devour soon. We're just going to take another red and start poking at it, I guess. So let's go get that thing revived. There we go. Get that thing up. It does get the Devour. And now we're going to need to start taking skulls to make sure it doesn't kill us. We can tank with one additional skull if we needed to. Make sure we get him up. Go take the purple down. Try finding ourselves a yellow. There we go. Perfect. That'll give us that. And don't even think about getting our Hellcat down. That we definitely need. Can we deny anything of importance? Well, we can take our yellow away again. Well, this battle's not going over well. This is, I guess, why I didn't do it as a team. Okay, good. It didn't kill us there. So now we can convert out as blue. Boom. We'll get that up. Now we have the double Phoenix. And we should be good off of this. Because we can do this. Boom. Tank. Go, tank. Go. And I guess we just throw again. We could take yellow into red and hope for extra turn. I'm just scared of what the double green will do. Perfect. He leaves it there for us. Oh, never mind. We actually have to drop, too. We'll just go for that. Oh, it would have came there anyways, which we ended up getting off the Cascade as well. So, yeah, all we need is one more Sunbird. That didn't go over the greatest that it could have, but you get the general premise of how a Sunbird can tank up front. Definitely not the best tank out there. It's also really counterable by Scion and stuff, which is used a lot right now. But it is a form of a tank, kind of like how Werewolf is in a similar kind of format. But yeah, that is the new Sunbird / Phoenix, whichever one I'm going to incorrectly call it. It is definitely a really good troop. I was underestimating it a bit when I initially saw it. It's like, oh yeah, it's just going to be kind of used for trait only. But no, its damage output is pretty decent as well. Didn't really think about that, but yeah, it is around about, or at least for me, it's around, I think, 97 damage, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let me go look at it. We can see in like an instant. 67 plus 30. Yeah, 97 damage. So that's not bad at all. Of course, it is with 10%, but still, if you break that down, that's still around 24 damage per enemy. Of course, it's not going to be a consistent kind of damage like that, but for only a 12 mana cost, it's pretty much average, a little bit above average. So that alone is pretty decent. And of course, that would scale relative to whatever your level is too. So relative to like your Behemoth and your Dragon Soul, or not your Dragon Soul, but your Behemoth, Christine X, and stuff like that, it's going to be slightly relative, kind of in like the middle ground of all the AoE damagers. And if you got it some HP, it would be even better. Though that is something I do have to mention though. I do not think it is worth putting HP onto a Sunbird. You're better off just looping it, using it as a tank, using it for its storm. I don't feel like you're going to be able to go the HP route on it. If you're going to go the HP route, you're probably better off just going Bold Taurus. He has a 1 lower mana cost, and he gets to keep all of his HP. So you can just double cast with him, win the battle, boom, you just won. I don't really feel like it's worth doing on a Sunbird. One other thing to mention, which I keep forgetting, I did the same thing last week and did it all the way at the end, but the event chests, are they worth opening this week? No, not really. The only thing in here is a Garuda, basically. He is that one right there that just came up. He is a red-yellow that hits all enemies and then creates a firestorm. He's decent. He is worth having. With the announcement earlier today, though, with the fact that the new patch is coming, which will likely allow us to be able to craft any legend we want, it probably isn't as needed anymore to really use event keys on some of these. And as far as the not as needed ones, such as the Garuda, I don't really think it's particularly useful to use event keys this week. If you need at least one copy of him, maybe do it just for the one copy. I would not bother going any further than one copy of him, though. If you already have a copy of him, I really don't feel like you should open event keys. There's a event coming next week where a new legend is coming into the drop hole, where it's only going to be an event key, so that would be the time to save it. I'd say save them for next week. Don't bother this week unless you seriously want a Garuda really badly, because that's basically the only thing within the drop hole that's even remotely worth it. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. If you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I'll make sure to get to you. Thank you all, and I'll see you all later tonight. Goodbye, and have a wonderful week.